Welcome to the Dream Stream. I'm your dream journalist, DJ Dreamy. This is the space where dreams aren't just remembered, they're followed, felt, and allowed to unfold into something meaningful. Today's episode moves through a single thread: romance, connection, intimacy. But not in the way we usually think about it. These dreams don't just show attraction, they explore the full spectrum of connection. The first spark of awareness, the quiet moments of emotional closeness, the complexity of desire, the presence required to truly be with another, and even a kind of intimacy that goes beyond the physical altogether. This is a progression, a journey, from curiosity to connection to something more subtle, more expansive. Let's step into the first dream. We begin with something light, a moment that feels almost simple, but carries the seed of everything that follows. A quiet awareness, a subtle attraction, a question that opens the door. It begins quietly. I'm lying in bed, already under the covers, that in-between state, where I'm not fully asleep, but not really awake either. There's a softness to everything, like the world has dimmed just a little. A girl comes around the corner. She notices me there, lying down, and for a moment there is this awareness between us. Nothing is said, but it's enough that I instinctively pull the covers up a little higher over myself, like I'm both hiding and acknowledging her at the same time. I'm sleepy, not just physically tired, more like drifting. Then she leaves, or at least she moves out of sight. A moment passes, and then she comes back. This time, she climbs up onto the top bunk above me. But the bunk isn't solid. It's transparent. I can see her clearly through it, her body moving in a way that doesn't quite make sense for gravity. It's like she's not just lying there, she's swimming, gliding, flowing across the surface above me as if it were water instead of a bed. I look up at her, watching this surreal motion, and I say, almost casually, almost curiously, "Are you swimming?" There's something light about the question. Not confused, just noticing. She continues moving like that, suspended in her own rhythm, while I remain below, still under the covers, still in that half-asleep state, watching. And the whole moment feels suspended too, like time isn't really moving forward. There's another layer to it. I come out of the dream. It's not a clean wake-up. I feel like I wake up once and try to write it down, but I'm still tired. Then again, and again. Each time it's like I'm pulled back into another layer of sleep, having to retrace the dream, trying to hold on to it, but feeling the weight of exhaustion each time I try. It's almost frustrating, like the act of remembering becomes its own loop, a kind of drag. And somewhere in that repetition, the dream lingers, just out of reach, but not fully gone. From that first spark, something begins to take shape. Connection moves from observation into presence. Now it's not just about noticing someone, it's about feeling them. A shared moment, a quiet bond. It begins in a classroom setting, but it doesn't feel rigid or formal. The space is loose, almost fluid. Like the structure of school is there, but softened. There's a girl in the class with me. She mentions, or at least it's understood, that she was up late the night before. She's tired. There's something about her presence. She seems a little different. Maybe just slightly on the spectrum. Not in a way that distances her, but in a way that makes her feel more open, more unfiltered. At one point, she's lying on the ground. Not in a disruptive way, more like she's just being herself. and she starts lightly singing, or maybe just walking through the lyrics of a song. It's soft, almost like she's in her own world. The way she's lying there reminds me of someone stretched out in the backseat of a car, just letting themselves drift. I notice someone approaching. A substitute teacher, or maybe a guest speaker, is coming over toward us. I don't want to shut her down. I don't want to interrupt what she's doing or make her feel self-conscious, but I also want to gently signal to her that someone's coming. So I try to communicate that quietly, subtly, without breaking her flow. Because just before this moment, we had shared something. There was this earlier interaction between us. She was either sitting or reclining, something like lying on a couch or bed, and I reached across to grab my notebook, but it turned out to be hers. As I leaned in, our faces came close together, and in that space, something paused. It wasn't dramatic, it wasn't exaggerated, just a quiet, mutual recognition. A kind of shared stillness where we both felt it. A connection. There was chemistry there. Not loud, just real. Back in the classroom moment, she had also said something that stuck with me. She referenced a scripture, maybe even one she made up, about not thinking too much about the upcoming fall, so you could just move into it naturally. Almost like trusting the transition instead of overanalyzing it. It lingered with me. I started thinking about where I was in life, in the dream. I had the sense that I only had one semester left before finishing high school, and I considered telling her that, like we were nearing the end of something together. But then I realized she might have more time left than I do. And then another layer came in. I started thinking about having 4 more years after that, like finishing a master's degree. Even though, in another sense, it felt like I had already completed something like that before. Like I was looping back through it, or just finishing a few remaining pieces. Then the teacher arrives. Someone nearby uses coded language to indicate that she's on the spectrum, and the teacher seems to pick up on it right away. He begins suggesting that maybe I could work with her, help guide her in some way. I start to respond, trying to meet him halfway, finishing his sentence almost instinctively. Maybe I could take her to another room. Then I think I hear him suggest taking her outside. So I pivot. Or take her outside for sports. But he resists that idea. He doesn't want to be known as the kind of teacher who just lets students go outside to play. There's something about his tone, like he has a reputation he's trying to maintain. So I pause and ask him more directly, trying to understand. What would you suggest? And underneath that exchange, there's something else moving in me. A quiet excitement. Because what I really want is simple. I want to spend more time with her. Outside the structure. Just be with her. And that feeling lingers. Not rushed, not forced. Just a soft, genuine pull toward connection. And then the field expands. Connection doesn't just live between two people. It begins to move through a wider space. Community. Family. Shared environments where closeness and tension can exist side by side. It's an outdoor gathering, open air, spread out beneath the trees. There's a kind of festive feeling to it, like a community event or a shared celebration. A large tent covering has been stretched across the trees, and there are blue streamers running up along one of them, adding a playful touch to the space. I'm aware that this event has been decorated and set up by my daughter and her friends. At one point, I look up at the decorations and make a small joke, pointing to the streamers. Those are blue-tiful. A simple wordplay, blue and beautiful. There's a lightness to it. I'm moving through the space, interacting with people as things unfold naturally. One of my daughter's friends comes up to me and asks, "Are you going to light up and camp outside?" I repeat it back to her, almost reflecting it as I hear it, and then respond by sharing something from my own experience. I actually went camping for 5 nights. Another one of her friends seems interested in that, so I tell her, there are about 10 camping spots. Do you want to see them? There's this sense of openness, offering, inviting, sharing. Food is being passed around. There's a table and I notice some items still sitting on the counter. I start moving them over, placing them on the table to help things flow better, just naturally stepping into being helpful. Nearby, in a neighboring field, there's another group. They look like a Boy Scout troop. They're working in tight formation, moving together in sync, following the commands of someone leading them. They're planting things, pulling things up, working the land in an organized, almost militaristic way. Someone near me comments that they're doing it better than we are, that their way seems more effective. But as I watch them, I get the sense that something's about to change, that what looks organized and efficient might not be what it seems, like they could shift direction at any moment and start undoing what they just built. There's a subtle awareness there of appearances versus what's actually happening. The scene shifts slightly. Now I'm inside, in more of a waiting room area. I'm lying on a couch, resting. In another room, I'm aware that a family member is being evaluated by doctors. There's conversation happening about diet, about cutting out certain drinks, and at the same time, there's this contradiction, where they're also offering him something like a chili soda that he likes. It feels a bit inconsistent. I get up and move toward a light switch. I'm thinking about cleaning up, helping with the aftermath of the event, getting things back in order. But just as I reach for the light, I pause. It feels like people might be about to come through the door. Like I don't want to be caught in the middle of something or maybe interrupt something that's about to happen. So I hesitate. There's a moment with my daughter. Some parts of her phone are on the ground, and I ask if she wants me to move them so they don't get stepped on. She responds sharply, I don't want that peace that was ruined by your family. There's tension there, something deeper beneath the words. Then another moment unfolds between my kids. She says with frustration, can I just watch something for myself, please? It's directed toward her brother. There's that familiar sibling dynamic, friction, boundaries, wanting space. In the background, a TV program is playing. I catch a strange line from it. He erected as the arsonist. It's oddly phrased, almost nonsensical, but it sticks out. And through all of this, the atmosphere holds both warmth and complexity. Connection is present. Conversation, humor, shared space, but so is tension. Boundaries, differences in perspective, moments of ease alongside moments of friction. It feels like being inside a living ecosystem of relationships, not just one-on-one connection, but connection in motion, within family, within community, within a shared field where everyone is interacting, overlapping, and finding their place. But connection isn't always smooth. Sometimes it's awkward. Sometimes it's misread. Sometimes it asks more of us than we're ready to give. Here's a glimpse into the wider field, moments where connection stretches, stumbles, and reveals its edges. Connection doesn't always arrive cleanly. It can be strange, awkward, even experimental, like in Stillborn Handshake. In this dream, I try to connect with a high school acquaintance by nudging his finger into a handshake, almost forcing the moment into existence. Then sing a line from The Hobbit play we once shared, hoping he might recognize me through it. It feels like offering a signal more than a conversation. Even when connection feels clumsy, there's something honest in the attempt, an invitation to be seen without fully conforming. Connection can also look like guidance in real time, especially when someone doesn't yet know how to respond. In Just Douse Him with Water Back, Son, My young son is quietly crying after being sprayed with a hose, unsure how to stand up for himself. I crouch beside him and offer two paths: tell the man directly, or sneak up and splash him back with a bucket, keeping it playful but empowering. Connection here becomes teaching someone how to advocate for themselves rather than stepping in to fix it for them. Sometimes connection is simply choosing to stay. In Complex Hair Salon, I'm floating through a space with a girl who wants to show me an elaborate hair washing contraption. Rollers, buckets, mechanisms, while there's a subtle pull to move on to the next activity. Instead, I pause and tell her she knows how long it takes everyone else to get downstairs, giving her permission to keep showing me. Intimacy lives in that decision to linger, to let someone have your attention a little longer than expected. But not all closeness feels good. In Suffocating Roommate, I encounter someone whose presence crosses from engaging into overwhelming, correcting others, pressing too close, almost provoking a reaction. When I finally push back, the tone shifts, and there's a sense he might escalate further. It reveals how quickly connection can turn when boundaries aren't respected. Not every invitation to engage needs to be accepted, and sometimes distance is what keeps connection healthy. And then there are moments where care shows up in unexpected, complicated ways. In Forced Insulin, I'm in the middle of tension and miscommunication when someone suddenly gives me an insulin shot, something I hadn't been taking care of myself. I realized, almost through tears, that I hadn't had the resources to meet that need. It's intrusive, but also deeply relieving. Even in imperfect dynamics, connection can break through as support, sometimes meeting us before we're ready to ask for it. And from that complexity, something deepens. Connection becomes quieter, more grounded, less about what we say, and more about how we hold space for another person. I'm in a shared space with another woman. Maybe a room where people come and go, something communal. There's a quietness to it. Then, a woman enters. She has just lost her kitten. You can feel it immediately, not because she says much, but because of how she carries herself. There's a heaviness, like she's holding something that doesn't have words yet. The other woman in the room had been in contact with her before, maybe online, and now she's arrived in person. As she steps in, I respond simply, "I'm sorry for your loss." And then I pause, because I can see something in her posture, in where she's standing. She's moved herself into a corner of the space, near some counter area. Not trapped, but positioned in a way that feels like she doesn't want to be overwhelmed, like she's unsure how much she wants to engage. So I add gently, "I don't mean to make you feel cornered in." I gesture slightly toward the space around her, acknowledging where she's standing without making it heavier. Then I continue, "And I don't mean to force you to say anything," because she looks like she's searching for words, and maybe there just aren't any yet. So I don't press. I don't try to fix it. I don't try to guide the conversation or fill the silence. I just leave space. The moment settles into stillness. Not awkward, not empty, just open. A quiet kind of presence where she can be exactly where she is without needing to respond, explain, or perform. And that becomes the connection. From presence, we move into intention. Desire enters the field, but now there's awareness, choice, restraint, discernment. Romance is no longer just happening, it's being navigated. This dream doesn't unfold as one continuous scene. It comes in waves, moments, fragments, shifting quickly from one to the next, all orbiting around a single intention: romance. At one point, I'm addressing different aspects of myself. It's like parts of me are separate people, and I'm interacting with them one by one. As I move through them, I reach a point where I feel like, that's enough for now. So I leave the rest. Then there's a moment where I'm singing, an operatic kind of voice. I reach for a note, pushing into it, and suddenly there's a sharp pain in my lower back, and that pulls me out. Another fragment. Words or sounds come through. J'juge. And then 2 other words, unclear but distinct enough that I want to remember them. I'm back in a classroom setting. I feel urgency. I want to record these phrases on my phone before someone makes an announcement and interrupts me. The room is almost empty now, just a few students left. I quickly ask for permission. Can I take a minute? I slip away, trying to find a quiet place to capture what I heard. But as I settle in, someone comes up behind me and hangs a bicycle on a rack nearby. I pause, step aside politely, and move again, still trying to find a place where I won't be interrupted. Then the scene shifts. I'm floating into a parking lot. There's a green Lamborghini. I lock it, or maybe just trigger the lights, and someone nearby notices. Then I hover over another car, one I think is mine. A man approaches it, like he's about to break in, so I confront him. There's a moment of tension. He pushes back, tries to engage physically. Others nearby seem ready to join in. But I remember something. My intention. Romance. So instead of escalating, I shift internally. I hold that intention, even in the middle of conflict. Another scene. There's a girl sitting next to me. She starts to flirt. Light touch, subtle signals. I respond. I kiss her. Then another girl appears, asking me to read something. It's like a receipt or a note, something that contains a piece of her dream. I try to read it aloud, but I struggle to make sense of it. The words don't come easily. There's something about boats in a harbor. And then a suggestion. Use a demagnetized pen to write on your phone or tablet. It feels symbolic, but unclear. Now I'm riding a one-wheeled scooter, leaning way back, then way forward, moving fast through a small neighborhood. There's a thrill to it. Balance, motion, control. Another moment. Someone is lying down in a wooden drawer-like space. I say to them, I just thought you wanted to lay down there in peace and sleep. It's gentle, observant. There's a brief image, placing something like a ribbon or blossom on someone's back, helping them move, like assisting with transport. Then someone is applying mud to themselves, like from a mud bath. They're asked, did you keep the intention? And there's a sense that maybe they need more. A shift again. 2 people are in conflict. There's a metaphor involving a tractor on a trailer, something about how they're positioned, how they relate after the conflict. I walk up to someone I recognize and say, I saw you in a dream. He responds casually, oh yeah? And I tell him, you'll be okay. Now I'm at a table. People are playing cards, poker. I start moving chips, touching cards, beginning to play. The guy next to me leans in and tells me not to make a certain move. I pause and agree. He's right. A waiter comes by to take my order. I scan the menu, trying to find what I want. I even ask where certain items are listed. Then I joke, everybody probably saw my cards anyway. I laugh, leaning forward. The moment is light again. Another thread. I need to gather a long list of items. One of them is meant for inside the house, so I mention that. I need to bring it in. There's a brief discussion about gravity. Someone points out that standing on a bike ramp isn't really different from standing on the second floor of a building. Gravity is the same. It's a subtle reframing. A girl nearby is writing something down. She gets wood chips on her hand. I notice. I want to brush them off for her, but I hesitate. Is that okay? Would that be crossing a boundary? Do I ask first, or just do it? There's a pause there, an awareness of touch, consent, connection. And that's where the dream seems to hover. Not in one clear resolution, but in a series of moments where intention, attraction, restraint, and awareness all intertwine. Romance isn't just happening, it's being chosen, navigated, felt out moment by moment. And finally, connection begins to transcend form. What started as curiosity, as attraction, as shared experience, becomes something more subtle, more spacious, more felt than seen. I'm lying on a bed, but the setting is strange. It feels like I'm outside, on a trail, and at the same time, inside a massive cavernous mansion. The space stretches upward. I can sense multiple floors above me, second, third levels, rooms branching out in all directions. It's vast, open, almost echoing with possibility. And yet, I'm just there on the bed, resting. A group of people passes by. They notice the space and begin to settle in, some joining on the bed I'm on, others moving toward another bed nearby that I point out to them. There's a quiet expansion happening. More presence, more people. But it doesn't feel crowded, just shared. Then she appears, a very pretty girl. But she doesn't feel fully physical. There's something different about her, like she's made of a lighter substance, subtle, almost transparent. An energy body. I notice that it's actually easier to connect with her when I close my eyes. When I do, I can feel her more clearly. Her outline becomes more defined, not through sight, but through touch. We begin to connect physically, or something like physical. There are moments, separate encounters where we come together again and again. Each time I find a way to engage with her presence, touching her, holding her, massaging her feet, lying beside her, kissing her. It's not rushed. It unfolds in intervals, like returning to the same connection, deepening it each time. At one point, I realize the bed we're on might not be the best place. I look up again at the space around us, the mansion, the many rooms, the openness, and I say something to her suggesting, there are so many other places here. We could go find another bed. Explore another space. So we do. We move together, leaving that spot behind, heading into the larger environment, into something new, but still connected. And the feeling remains. Not intense, not urgent, just present. A soft, steady connection that doesn't need to prove itself. It simply exists and continues. And that's where these dreams leave us. Not with a definition of romance, but with an experience of it. From a question as simple as, "Are you swimming?" to a connection that doesn't even require the physical body to be fully present. What we see across these dreams is a shift from seeking connection to allowing it, from reacting to attraction to choosing how we engage with it, from physical closeness to something energetic, intuitive, and spacious. Maybe intimacy isn't something we create. Maybe it's something we become available to. This has been the Dream Stream with your dream journalist, DJ Dreamy. If one of these moments stayed with you, sit with it. Let it reflect something back to you. And I'll meet you in the next dream.